dwelling in the book of Matthew today, the 3rd and 4th chapters, various verses. And so I invite you to listen for a word from the Lord. Then Jesus came from Galilee to John at the Jordan to be baptized by him. And John would have prevented him, saying, "I need to be baptized by you, and do you come to me?" But Jesus answered him, "Let it be so now, for it is proper for us in this way to fulfill all righteousness." And then he consented. And when Jesus had been baptized, just as he came up from the water, suddenly the heavens were opened to him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and alighting on him. And a voice from heaven said, "This is my Son, the beloved, with whom I am well pleased." And then the story continues. We usually finish there, but today we combine these stories. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." And then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." And Jesus said to him, "Again, it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. And he said to him, "All these I will give you, if you will fall down and worship me." And Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited upon him. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Amen. We read the scripture of the 40 days in the wilderness at the beginning of Lent. And so we're prepping a little early for Lent this year as we read it today. As we ponder the approach to Lent and how this will affect our lives and what we need to do during Lent. So it's good for us to prep and pray in this time, 3-week period before Lent, so that we can decide what it is God is calling us to study during our 40 days of Lent. Let us pray. Holy One, Lord of all, the one who was the Word and gave us the Word, we thank you for these words from the gospel. We thank you for the challenge. We thank you for your presence that comforts us throughout the scriptures. And we thank you for going ahead and doing what we needed to do to show us the way. Bless the words that I have prepared today, and may they be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord our God. Amen. So how many of you are joining with Bishop Lewis in reading the Bible in a year? Did you leave this week's reading with a deep desire to bathe? All of the scriptures in Leviticus seem to have something to say about washing. Washing your body, when to do that, showing yourself to the priest, washing before, washing after, washing at night, washing your clothes, washing your home, wash. It's a very water-steeped book of the Bible. And water is very important. Water is an essential element in bathing and in baptism. It is essential to our bodies and to the earth on which we live. One website about water said 2/3 of the Earth's surface is covered by water, and your human body consists of 75% water. It is evidently clear that water is one of the prime elements responsible for life on Earth. Water circulates through the land, just as it does through our human bodies, transporting, dissolving, replenishing nutrients in organic manner while carrying away waste material. Further, in the body, it regulates the activities of fluids, tissues, cells, lymph, blood, and glandular secretions. This is why it's so important for us to stay hydrated. So water is vital to our being, our health and our wholeness, and as it turns out, it is vital to our spiritual well-being as well. As Christians, we think of Jesus as the living water. We must learn to drink deeply of this living water lest we get dehydrated. Jesus is the living water, and Jesus does for us what water does for our world. As those who consume and need water to live and breathe and digest and clean our clothes and homes and bodies, Jesus is an essential element in our health and our wholeness. For Jesus, baptism was the mark of the beginning of his ministry. Prior to his baptism, Jesus was just a good Jewish carpenter and the son of Mary. And after his baptism, he is revealed to be the Son of God, God's beloved Son. So this moment, this baptism in the River Jordan was the launching. It was the start. It was the opening. It was the inauguration. This baptism was the beginning. And then came the wilderness journey of 40 days. 40 days in the desert. Just like Moses and the Israelites were out in the wilderness for 40 years, and Noah was on the ark floating on the floodwaters for 40 days, Jesus spends 40 days in the desert fasting. That's quite a feat. As one who's always lived in the States desert, on the east coast of the States, desert is a little bit unfamiliar to me. At a previous parish, we had a young man enter the military, and he went to serve in Afghanistan. He and his mom were members of our congregation. She was there regularly and kept us up to date on what was happening with him. I had actually never met him at that point. I met him afterwards, but we all knew about him, and we all prayed for him every day. And while he was over there, we sent him a care box every month. We loved on him in any way we could. And while he was there was a newspaper reporter who went to watch and study and report back. And he ended up writing a book. And they included pictures of our soldier in this book. And he sits there perched on some piece of equipment, looking over the desert, this huge expanse of desert in the background. He has a headscarf wrapped around his throat and around his helmet, and he's carrying his weapon. It is a very dry and desolate place. Just looking at the picture made you thirsty because it was so dry and so desolate. Seeing that picture made the hazards and lack of water evident in ways I'd never imagined. There were mountains and mountains of sand, no bushes, no trees, just rocks and sand. Gone was my idyllic picture of camels and oases in the desert. The desert was a brutal place. The young man who went out into the desert did not come back again the same as he went into the desert. His time there changed him. Unfortunately, it was not the same kind of transformation that Jesus underwent in the desert. But the desert is still a place of transformation, for good and for ill. For Jesus, the time in the desert fasting prepared him for his next 3 years of ministry. We don't know exactly what went on out there for those 40 days. We just know what happened when he started to re-enter society. We heard that in the Matthew 4 passage. But that baptism led him into the desert, which brought him back to the world, ready to claim his ministry and ready to face the world to bring God's love, grace, and redemption in his teaching, preaching, healing, and ultimately giving his life and rising again. From this dry place, Jesus was now ready to be living water. That brought life back into the world with the sacrifice of his body and the pouring out of his blood and water. Baptism led to a cross. Baptism is a very dangerous thing, and it is not to be taken lightly. Yesterday I posted a question on Zion's Facebook page. How would your life have been different if you had not been baptized? How would your life have been different if you had never been baptized? Baptism isn't just a nice ceremony. It is a challenge for our whole selves, our whole lives. It is what happens after the baptism in the water that matters. It is what happens after baptism that changes the world. Dr. Gail Felton says in her book, By Water and the Spirit, a book of what United Methodists believe about baptism, said, baptism is not limited to a moment in time. Baptism is God's promise to sustain our spiritual life. Baptism matters. Martin Luther, whose 95 Theses sparked the Reformation 500 years ago, said something every day when he washed. He said, I am baptized. I am a Christian. Help me to live like one. Every day, as water touched his body, he said these words, I am baptized. I am a Christian. Help me to live like one. Martin Luther saw every day as a new beginning, a time and a place into which he would live his baptism, his calling to follow Christ. Baptism was a once-in-a-lifetime event that formed and shaped him until the day he died and into his eternal life. How would your life be different if you hadn't been baptized? Baptism helps us face the day, the dangers, the mission in our walk through the wilderness we call life. It washes us, it feeds us, it nourishes every cell of our being and every cell of the church and of the world so that we might be a life-giving mission for others. We can't save, but we can point others to where the water is. We can point them to the life-giving water of Jesus, the well of life, the water in the desert. We may not wrap our heads in scarves to keep out the sand. We may not carry a weapon, but we carry Jesus with us, and that is the only defense we need in this world of wilderness moments. I am baptized. I am a Christian. Help me to live like one, can be our daily prayer in the wilderness. Dr. Felton shares this about Karl Barth, a famous theologian who was once asked whether or not the serpent in the Garden of Eden actually spoke with an audible voice. And his answer is said to have been, yes, it still does. I hear it every day. Jesus, the living water, is God's way of reaching us to bring us back into a relationship we had in the Garden of Eden. A relationship where we check in with God daily, to live and walk beside God, to listen and to be advised. We combat the serpent's voice with our daily prayer in remembrance of our baptism. I am baptized. I am a Christian. Help me to live like one. Say it with me. I am baptized. I am a Christian. Help me to live like one. That is why Jesus came, to tell us how much God loves us, so we would seek to be baptized in the water, baptized by the Holy Spirit, and continue to seek the relationship with God that was lost in the garden. Every day, every way, we must come back to the water and to the cross and to the resurrection. Our baptism must mean something. It must be a calling and a catalyst for us to change and grow in our faith. Otherwise, it's just a dead and meaningless ritual. Does our baptism matter? Does it bring life to each new day we live? Does it bring life to others? Baptism calls us forth from our complacency into a life and ministry that helps others come to the waters of baptism. We know We must help others find the way through the desert to the life-giving water, or they will die. Baptism is always a challenge. Dr. Felton shows this story in her book. There is an old story about a daredevil who was about to ride a bicycle across a tightrope strung over a deep gorge. Seeking encouragement, perhaps, he asked the bystanders if they believed that he could perform this feat successfully. And many of them cheered loudly and affirmed that indeed they believed he could go across the gorge on a bicycle. The daredevil then uncovered his bicycle and revealed that it had a second seat. "All right," said the daredevil, "who among the believers will ride with me?" Today, Jesus is asking, all right, who among the believers will ride with me? Who has the faith to trust and climb aboard and take a lifelong ride with the living Christ, Son of God and living water? Next week, the Swayzes are bringing their third grandbaby in one family to come and be baptized. And so I thought today was a good day to get us ready, because there are promises that we make every time we baptize someone. And I want us to think about that as it approaches next week. What does baptism mean to me? Would my life be any different? How will we love and support those who are here and those who will come as they too answer the call and be baptized? And if there are those of you out there who aren't baptized, come and see me. We can talk about that and make that difference in your life. Amen.